Howdy gamers. Let's talk about the runes for Twitch ADC. It really doesn't change too much as you really only have a couple keystone options. The main ones being press the attack and then lethal tempo. If you're playing Twitch in the jungle, things change a bit, but not really. And I'm really only mentioning AD carry Twitch as it's his most viable role. And what Twitch does in the jungle, the runes really would only shift in the secondary runes. So I'll mention the jungle runes near the end of the video if that's what you're interested in. But the majority of this video is just going to be mentioning the runes as they are applicable to the AD carry role. So starting off with the Keystones, you have the good options of press the attack and lethal tempo. Some bad options you have are like Fleet of Footwork, Conquer, maybe Hella Blades, for example. Hella Blades is pretty bad as Twitch wants to get more than 3 auto attacks on the enemy, and that's really a lot of what Hella Blades offers. Hella Blades is also good whenever you can take a lot of easy trades. Think about champions like Kalista in lane where they're really lane dominant. Twitch isn't a champion like that. Twitch is a champion that is either killing one target or looking to kill everyone and needs a keystone to help him do so. Something like Fleet of Footwork could give you a little extra healing and then movement speed, but the healing becomes really negligible. It's not going to help. It's not going to help you survive lane. Lanes that you wouldn't otherwise survive. A lot of what playing Twitch is just waiting for the wave to come to you against stronger lanes in the bot lane. And Fleet of Footwork isn't going to save you from, like, let's say a Caitlyn Morgana or something. Conqueror also is pretty low value, as with Twitch, yes, you do have time to stack it up because of his poison, but it's slower to stack up as an ADC. And then once it's stacked up, you don't really get good value out of the healing unless you're against a lot of ranged champions. So it's not a terrible keystone, but it's really, really hard to make general use out of. There probably is matchups in which you could run Conquer on Twitch, but in most cases, the damage from press the attack is going to be outweighing it, or the team fighting potential of lethal tempo is probably going to be outweighing it, and you give up a lot of laning tools in both if you're taking Conquer over both of them. Conqueror also kind of functions as a late game rune because it has to scale with levels, and scaling with levels is kind of worse with ADC. With press the attack gives you access to more damage and also synergizes pretty well with how Twitch's kit wants to function. You want to build up poison stacks on the enemy and then use the E whenever they're low. With press the attack, it gives you more damage after 3 auto attacks, and then increases all damage that the enemy takes afterwards. So not only are you putting them at lower amounts of health, therefore increasing the amount of damage that the E is going to deal, but you're increasing the amount of the damage that the E is going to deal also with the percentage damage increase from press the attack. If you have any, like basically every meta support champion in the game too, you're also going to be increasing their damage in the laning phase with press the attack. And then come team fighting, you're going to be increasing the damage onto one target, which is usually going to be the front line, which is usually what Twitch has to hit first. So it functions as this laning tool in which it gives you more damage whenever you're actually fighting, because Twitch doesn't really trade. He's really just fighting or not, and press the attack functions better in those situations. And then in a team fighting scenario, it helps you take down the first target, and then you can reset your Q and then look to kill the next and the next and the next. With lethal tempo, after you damage an enemy champion, you gain bonus attack speed, and then that attack speed scales with your level, and then also the attack speed gain lasts for longer whenever you hit an enemy champion. So with lethal tempo, it makes it so that you have better team fighting. It can also be viewed as a laning tool, as you could proc it with your W, and then because of Twitch's passive, you would get the bonus attack speed. But with that, yes, you could get more attack speed, and then that lets you get better control over the wave, but it doesn't work as well as other ADCs that can do about the same thing. Champions like Xayah, where they can proc it easier, and then it also functions a lot better come mid game, because if Twitch is missing out from the damage from press the attack, he really does feel it. So I think you should only be looking to run lethal tempo if you're in a already losing lane and then looking to just team fight, basically, because lethal tempo has the advantage of once you enter the mid game, then the more attack speed is going to be more useful in a team fight, in like an ideal scenario in which you open up and then you're protected and the enemy can't get onto you, and then the attack speed is basically just going to be more damage because you can get the spray and pray onto more targets. but it's a lot harder, and you lose out on so much of the early game power from press the attack. And press the attack also scales into the mid and late game anyways. So I think press the attack should be your main keystone for that reason, and it just offers you a lot. So with press the attack, hitting an enemy champion with 3 consecutive basic attacks deals bonus damage based on your level, and then also exposes them, so they take a percentage increased damage from all sources for 6 seconds. So it's going to be increasing your damage, your support's damage, maybe your jungler's damage, and then come team fights, your entire team's damage. So really useful rune. You do have to pay attention to the target that you're using it on, because once you use it, it does go on cooldown. So be kind of mindful of that, but usually with Twitch, you're hitting the important target anyways. For the secondary rune, you have the option of Overheal or Triumph. You don't need the mana from Presence of Mind. It really goes pretty wasted on Twitch. Overheal functions as a laning tool as well. I don't think Twitch needs it compared to other ADCs. If you have a ranged versus ranged matchup in the bot lane, I think taking Overheal is fine, as you're playing with more effective HP in the laning phase, and that helps you offset a lot of the damage from a poke support, and then also play better with your ranged support, whether it be a Lulu, Janna, etc. And the Overheal gives those champions extra value if they have any heals in their kit as well. With Triumph, takedowns restore 12% of your missing health and grant you additional 20 gold. I think Triumph's more useful whenever you have a melee support, and even in some ranged matchups in the bot lane, Triumph is still completely fine for Twitch, as a lot of what Twitch is doing is looking to kill one target and then reset and then survive and then move on to the next or exit a fight entirely. So if you're playing more for lane, Overheal's fine, but I think Triumph is easier to use and then also just kind of more useful on Twitch, especially if you're playing to roam on him as well, which I think you should be looking to do. In the third row, you have good options in Alacrity or Bloodline. Alacrity giving you attack speed, and then Bloodline giving you lifesteal. I think the attack speed is more useful on Twitch compared to other ADCs. Almost every ADC in the game wants to take Bloodline because they're building a lot of crit early, but with Twitch, you're probably building Blade of the Rune King or maybe Sanguine Blade early, so you're getting the lifesteal already from your first item, and then the attack speed is going to be more useful as you're going to get attack speed from your Q, and then the attack speed is converted into more damage whenever you ult, or whenever you can get more of the poison stacks onto an enemy through the auto attacks. So I think the attack speed in the runes becomes really, really, really good for Twitch compared to other ADCs, and you should probably just take it every single time over Bloodline. I can't think of a matchup in which you would need that lifesteal from Bloodline in combination with Doran's Blade and Blade of the Rune King to like actually make a difference. So yeah, and then for the fourth rune, I think Coup de Grace is going to be your best bet. Coup de Grace gives you 8% more damage to champions who are below 40% health. Cutdown is really good on ADCs, but with Twitch, even if you're playing into tanks, you're going to be dealing damage to them with Press the Attack, not so much with the bonus percentage damage you can get from Cutdown. With Coup de Grace, you're still going to be able to deal damage to tanks, but you're going to have to get them lower before you do so. With Cutdown, it would give you like more DPS against tanks, but it's really not what Twitch is looking for. If you're playing against like 5 tank champions, sure, run Cutdown. 4 or 3 like tank champions, sure, run Cutdown. But in general, Coup de Grace is going to be giving you more value because of how Twitch's kit wants to execute one target. So yeah, that's basically always going to be the setup. Even if you were to switch to Lethal Tempo, I think you'd still be running the same minor runes. And then for the secondary runes, really Twitch only has well, he does have an interesting option in the Domination tree where you could take Sudden Impact and then Relentless Hunter. It's where you after exiting Stealth, you gain 7 lethality and 6 magic penetration for 5 seconds, and then it's on a 4-second cooldown. So it could be used multiple times in a fight, but it would probably be only used initially whenever you're ambushing a target. And it's harder to use on AD carry Twitch, as you lose out on a lot of the scaling or utility from something like Sorcery Second with Nimbus Cloak and Gathering, or something terrible like Free Boots and Biscuits, mostly just Nimbus Cloak and Gathering Storm. You lose out on a lot of that for like extra damage, like a little bit of extra damage, and only whenever you're ambushing a target, and then out of combat movement speed, which is going to help you with roams. I don't think it's a terrible setup, but if you're running it, you do have to play for roams, in which you have to manage your bot lane wave properly, usually just crashing 3 waves and then looking for a roam and then coming back to the bot lane. And then with that, it can help you have more successful roams, and then come mid game, it should help you if your team has a lead to move around the map better. If you're farming side lanes and then ganking, say, mid lane or something. But the damage from sudden impact is really strange on Twitch, as the 7 lethality is okay, but I don't see it being like wildly impactful for your damage, because lethality has to scale with your level as well, and AD carries don't get a lot of levels in the game. So it's a interesting option that Twitch has, but I think you're better off with a more consistent option with something like Sorcery second. With Sorcery, you have good options in Nimbus Cloak, Absolute Focus, and Gathering Storm. Nimbus Cloak giving you more movement speed whenever you cast a Summoner spell. Absolute Focus giving you more attack damage per level when you're above 70% health. And then Gathering Storm giving you more attack damage per 10 minutes in the game. For Twitch, I think it's completely fine to go Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm if you're playing more defensive, where you're letting your team set up plays for you. If you have an Enchanter support or like no engage, I think you should look to run Nimbus Cloak, as the extra movement speed you get from casting a Summoner spell is going to be really useful whenever you're playing with a ranged champion in the bot lane, as you have to maneuver more. So the extra movement speed is going to help you run away better or chase the enemy down better. So yeah, and since Twitch is a stationary target, I think it's really, really useful on him compared to most like Season 9 champs that have, or Season 10 champs that have like 20 million dashes. So in defensive matchups, I think Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm is your best bet. Both of those in combination gives you a lot of free attack damage, and in combination with Twitch's ult and all the attack speed he gets for free too, just equates to a lot of damage. A lot of damage just for basically existing in the game. So yeah, you could run Inspiration second. I think it's a really bad option. You could run Free Boots and Biscuits. It's really all you have going for you here. You could also run Perfect Timing against a lot of engage from the enemy team. With Free Boots, you just save 300 gold and then get the boots at 12 minutes. And then with Biscuits, you get a biscuit every 2 minutes until 6, and the biscuits restore 10% of your missing health and mana, and then also permanently increase your mana. Like, Twitch doesn't need the extra mana offered from this, and he also doesn't need to save the 300 gold on boots. If anything, Twitch wants to be buying boots early, like for even first recall, to be able to roam to the mid lane if he can. So I think your best bet's going to be Absolute Focus, Gathering Storm in most cases, and then maybe if you're playing for roams or like have solo lanes that you can gank, I think Sudden Impact Relentless Hunter is fine. And if you're playing Twitch in the jungle, it's really the only thing that you would change with the runes here would be running Nimbus Cloak and then Water Walking, as Water Walking gives you more movement speed through the river. That's going to help you whenever you're approaching for ganks, and then Nimbus Cloak has the extra utility in the jungle, as it's going to help you either run someone down or run away from them, which if you're caught out as Twitch jungle, it's really, really bad. And then whenever you're ganking as Twitch jungle, you definitely want that gank to be successful, so staying on the target is going to help you make that gank successful, because you can just get more damage off because of it. And then whenever you're fighting in the river, you can get use of the bonus AD offered from Water Walking as well. So yeah, that's really the only variation for Twitch. And then for the Shard runes, it's always going to be attack speed, adaptive force, and armor. You could run double resistances if you wanted to in the AD carry role, but I don't think you should look to do so on Twitch, as pretty similar to why you wouldn't want to run Fleet of Footwork. It's just not going to save you in the laning phase. So yeah, that's the runes for Twitch. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I try to answer all of them. If this video helped you, leaving a like on the video helps me. You could also subscribe. It's just League of Legends content. So yeah, Twitch. Honestly, I haven't seen Twitch in like 4 years, but maybe he'll make a comeback. He probably won't, but you know, I saw him in the jungle. Wow, he level 2'd mid. Can't believe this shit is happening, man. Really can't.